Welcome to Yeshiva Daf Shir sponsor Lo Nishma Samak Shom Lava Sitzchok. We're holding Metzia Daf Ayin Tes. Says the Gemara, we got to Omar Rabba Avuna Omar Rav. It's about, let's say, 10, 11 lines down the Omar. Omar Rabba Avuna Omar Rav Hasoicher Sachamor. Someone rented a donkey. Little Korvalea to ride it. Umei Saloi B'Chatzia Derech. And in the middle of the way, the donkey died. And in other words, he was traveling from one place to another with a donkey, or going with a donkey. And in the middle of the way, the donkey died. So he gives him the payment of that half. In other words, the rider needs to pay for renting half. He can't, the only thing he has is to be a little bit upset. As we saw before, not really a claim, but I'm not happy with what you did for me. So what's the case? Either shchiach la'agurei, Torah is ma'aviditi. If it's easy there, he just to rent another cow. So why is it complaining? Get another cow and leave. Shchiach la'agurei l'ma'aviditi. You can't find one, another one. Hagur by the meisavlei. So what is it to pay him? I didn't get to where I was supposed to get to. I hired a donkey to take me from here to the city. I reached Kuwait. What am I supposed to do over here? Shchiach la'agurei. He says, really, you can't rent. He says, yeah, but at least you got the Kuwait. And that costs money. Yeah, you need to take another Uber. But right now, you got somewhere. So the Tais explains, and more, at least according to one shot, that he is able to sell his merchandise there, wherever he is. He wants to get to the city. They don't do it over there. So listen, I brought you somewhere. You got the place which is sellable. Okay, you want to go somewhere else. So it's not completely no value. Says the Gemara, what's the case? He says, I'm going to rent you a donkey. So give me another donkey. Rashi explained, we're going to see now in the Gemara. So if the donkey died, sell the nevela and use the money to get me something. You're obligated to give me a donkey. If he says this donkey, so then English and if he says okay, he gave me the donkey died, use the proceeds to hire a coach. There's not enough money to buy a new one, and to get another one, he never obligated himself. The owner of the cow, of the donkey, never obligated, never agreed, never subject himself to give any donkey. He said, "I'll give you pony. I'll give you Bill the donkey. That's what I wanted to give you." He died, so what can I do? So okay, so let me use the money to buy a new one. It's not enough money. The value of the nevela is not as much. So the Gemara, so So okay, so use the money to rent, not to buy no one. So around the time what happens if I'm going to rent? What happens if I take the money and I use it to rent? You know what happens? It's going to be gone. Right? We have nothing left. I'm going to come back, I'm going to use the money, it'll be over. That we don't do. We don't go and use the principle in a way that you're never able to recoup anything. The Eitnar, as we learned, someone rented a donkey, and it died in the middle of the way. If there is enough money to buy another donkey, you buy another donkey. But to rent, you don't rent. Why? It's going to get lost. And Shmuel says you do rent. What's like this? I'm not going to go and just waste the money, use it for rental, not have anything left. So one more brings a question. If you have a dry tree or got cut off, what are you talking about when the tree is yavish or not? We're talking about someone who gave a tree to his friend as a mashkin. It's a collateral. Actually, it's like mashkan to the surah. So it goes away. So you have your tree and the lender can use it. And once he finishes, it goes back to the bar. Now, if the tree is yavish, dried out, or it's cut off, Shtem asurim boy. The shtem, they're not allowed to go and enjoy it. Why? Because they're gonna ruin it for each other. The lender, if the bar uses it, so the lender doesn't have his mashka. If the lender uses it, so the bar won't have anything back. Ketzad says, what do you do? What you do is you buy a land, and the fruits, the money making, that's what he takes. Here, when Yovel comes, the land will go back to the seller. So what's going to happen here? Reuben lent money to Shimon, and the tree died. So what are you going to do? You can buy a land of Levi, and the land will belong to Shimon, and the fruits will belong to Reuben. Once again, if Yovel comes, it's going to go back to Levi. So there'll be nothing left. Kakal yakana, nothing stays. In other words, a Yovel is like a rental. They say a long-term lease. You lease it here for a long term.
What's our ribis?
What are your ribis?
He's giving him the tree back to be used.
And then the land goes back to Levi.
We lended something.
He gets back only the fruits, the value of the loan. Rashi says Mashkata the Suru. Doesn't get more than the loan. So says the Gemara, Yovel goes back. So we're now talking about they gave it to a Yovel for this land is not subject to Yovel. Why not? He sold it for 60 years. He has a buyback option. How do you know if I sell a land for a certain amount of time, even though it's more than a Yovel, it doesn't go back to Yovel? The Torah says, I don't want the land to stay forever. Mashiach doesn't stay forever, I don't have a problem. If I have a land that's being sold for 60 years and I know in 60 years is coming back, you don't have that's subject to Yovel. It says the one Mishain Shom Yovel mitzveses. If there's no Yovel, without the Yovel, it will be left by the land, by the buyer forever. Yeshiva Yovel and mitzveses. But the Yovel helps it not to be completely gone forever. Yotzazu, the one that has 60 years, even without the Yovel, and it won't last forever by the buyer. So more says, we're talking about no Yovel. It says more, safe, what does that mean? The same problem I have. Okay, you're saying now Yovel will take it out. So what will take it out? The 60 years will take it out. So the Chimatu Shilishonim Ka'adro Oro Lemarov Kakali Karno. Once the 60 year comes, so you have to give the land back to the owner, not because of Yovel, because that's the deal by Yovel. And if so, it's even if you don't have the Yovel, the land Kakali Karno is over. We're talking about a time that there's no Yovel. You know Yovel? It doesn't go back to Levi. That makes a lot of sense. You know, for a different reason. If you want to tell me there's a Yovel, yeah, we don't care about the fact that the land, that the money of this loan will completely be gone. As long as they enjoy it, it's good enough. If so, so why am I telling you to buy a land? Just take the wood of the tree and cut it and use it. Why do I have to buy a land? Just use the tree. So you see for what? You see that what? That we care about. What do we care? We care about Kal Yakarno. That's why I don't let you use the tree. Because I care about Kal Yakarno, so she will stay with the land. You have to say there's not Yovel, not Noy. That's a right. So the Gemara, don't bring around from here. Zimnu the show mashkanto mikamei Yovel. Inami demoto izuze upork le'aru chamesh shanim yukei Yovel. Says no, not necessarily there will be Kal Yakarno. Kal Yakarno means that the borrower doesn't get anything back. Who said? Maybe you're going to use the collateral for 2 or 3 years, and then it goes back to the borrower until the Yovel. Or you'll use the collateral until a few years. If the borrower will have some money, he'll pay it back. There is an option that goes back. You could say, I care about Kal Yakarno, so I don't let you use the tree. But the Yovel, which may not be Kal Yakarno, there may not be complete removal from the borrower. It may stay by the borrower at least for a temporary basis. It's not completely Kal Yakarno, so maybe that's the reason we're not chodesh to that. Okay. Says the Gemara. By the way, Tosis asks, when Morris said 60 years, what was happening in the Gemara? What new goes back to the owner. Says Toys, I would think if it's very long term, 60 years, that's not considered to be Kali Kar. The fact doesn't go back. The Gemara says no, if the bar doesn't get back at all, it's Kali Kar. Someone rents a boat, takes the boat drowns in the middle of the way. In other words, you leave a chazok. I don't know who gets it. I don't know who's to blame, so to speak. So if he paid already, I don't take it out from the owner. If he did not pay, you don't take it back from the renter. Says the Gemara. No, right now, well, let's see. The Gemara says the Gemara's going to explain it. Hey Chidam, we didn't get to the question yet. The Rashi is referring to the next line of the Gemara. Hey Chidam, we're talking about the Yeshiva. We give you this boat. I'll give you a boat called Mary. That's the boat I'm going to give you. And Yain Stam, meaning the guy is renting the boat in order to take a wine. He says, I'm going to go to the market. I'm going to find somebody who sells wine. I don't know exactly which one. No, I'm going to find certain wine and I'm going to put it onto the boat. If you paid for it, why should I take it back? The renter, here comes a very interesting, because this gives us a little bit more perspective. How do you look at it? The one who's renting says, I'm ready to go. You promised me a boat. You promised me this boat. The boat is not here. I'm ready. I have the wine. The wine is readily available. Meaning, what's the wine? The wine is to go to the market, buy any wine. So, where is my wine? I mean, where's my boat to take my wine? Right? So I'm not saying my later. Namely, give me a boat. I'll bring the wine I'm supposed to bring. So what would be the flip side? We talk about that the renter said, "I'll give you any boat. I have a whole shipping company. I'll give you one boat." And he says, "I want to buy with this boat. I want to buy the special 70 vintage that is by Joshua. And now it's drowned. You don't have any more the wine. So, if you didn't pay, why should he pay back? Says the one that fantastic base. Here it's as if the owner says, "I'll give you a boat. I'll happily give you a boat. You don't have what to take with it. That's not my fault. I'm not responsible for the merchandise in the boat, right?" In other words, the word says here, the question is, who is right now stopping the deal from happening? If you tell me that he said this boat, so the owner cannot fulfill his agreement. Give me a boat. This boat is not here. You told me to give me this boat. This boat is not here. It's drowned. And the renter is able to fulfill his, so to speak, his agreement, his plan. He will bring any wine he wants. On the flip side, the renter says, I'll give you a boat. But the one who wants to buy doesn't have what to bring. So he is the one, so to speak, that is not able to fulfill his part. Says the Gemara, we talk about the guy said, I'm going to bring you this boat, this wine. And now it's drowned. The shaila is, who's the one who is, as Tosfos mentions here in the Sugya so many times, mazol going. Who's the one who's the mazol? Is it the boat or the wine? We're not so sure. So the first one is, it's a muhzak. I don't know who's won. So whoever's holding on to the money, I'm not going to take it after. But if you talk about that, it was generic. I'll give you a boat. I'll bring you wine. So what do? You'd split the money into half. Because he used it for half the way. It worked. And now they can do something else. So whatever they did, it was fulfilled. Okay. And this obviously is svara, thinking more of what is one of these svaras we have in the parak of a svara. What's the idea? Svara over here is that you have to, who's the one who could fulfill his obligation? It's a little harder svara for us to wrap our heads around. So the one in the beginning, Rashi points out and understood, what does it mean? The person rented a boat and he unloaded the boat in the middle of the way. Has to pay him for half the way. So he only can complain, the owner can just say, I am upset. What's the case? If he finds someone else to rent the boat in my Satarims. Why is he upset? I rent it halfway. I unload it. You can give it to somebody else. But if you can't find a way to rent, too late. You caused me the loss. You hired the boat for the day, and then in the middle of the day you left. Yeah, it doesn't work. You booked it for the day. He's able to find someone to rent it. Hello, in my Isataris, why is that I know? Mishum Ravsto the Sfinto. What's Ravsto the Sfinto? Rashi explains when you load and unload from the boat, it makes a little damage on the boat. So I'm unloading the boat, I'm loading it, I'm unloading it. It's too much of a balagan. I'd love to leave the same merchandise over there. Yachi time to me, that's a good time. So why it's all the tyrants? Well, I'm waiting is has a time you caused me damage. So it says the more elo. So the more I'll change the whole other. My poiko the parko le'toyane b'gavei. What's parko le'toyane b'gavei? Rashi learns in the middle of the way he added more to the boat. He loaded more. So he put on the boat a certain amount of merchandise, and then he comes in the middle of the way he adds more. Taisus learns that in the middle of the way he unloaded in the boat. He didn't remove from the boat. But he had their containers, he opened the containers and took out all the merchandise of the containers and put it on the boat. Now what? So my taramis, Mishum Shinui Daito. Inami La'ash Lo Yiseu. So what's the taramis? He says, so according to Rashi, listen, I know you have the right to fill the boat, but you didn't. You put only half. In the middle of the way, now you change your mind. So now there's more for me to take care, even though you have the right to do it, but that's not how we started. So I'm not like you confusing me. Or Rashi says, they have to buy more ropes in order to handle more load. According to Taisa, the same idea, just putting it's more of a mess dealing with the merchandise in the boat. So someone is renting a donkey to ride it. The soicher put on the donkey his clothing and his little pitcher of water. And all the food he needs for the way. Even though the way can be a long way, it can be 2 weeks. More than that, the chamar, the owner of the donkey, says, sorry, it's too much. Why are you putting all this on the boat? Hey, it's like going in a plane. You have a right to 1 suitcase and 1 carrier. That's what you have a right for. Don't put more. Chamar, the owner of the donkey, the barley and the straw that the animal needs to eat, and the food for himself, the owner of the donkey, of that day. Not more than the day, not the entire way. The Gemara explains soon what's the difference. Afterwards, the Rebbe can say, 1 second, you're loading too much of the donkey, I'm not getting able to use it for. Same way, what's the case? If it's easy to find food, why are you saying that the renter, the one who's renting the donkey, can put it in as the food for the whole way? Why? We're on the way, you go stop in the supermarket and buy food. If you're in a way place where you can't find food, so the one who's renting should not have a taina against the owner of the donkey who wants to put food there. There's no food in the way. You could get food, but it's not easy. It's not out there. There's no supermarket in every corner. And me'avna means, Rashi explains, avna means where they go to sleep in the night. You come to these villages in the night. There you have to go to that local farmer, you get something. It's not easy to do it. The owner of the donkey, the truck driver, that's what he does always. He's always on the ways. He knows everything. He knows how to get it done. When the soicher is not his derech to go and buy to find his food, and that's why he could say, I need food for the entire way. I'm not starting to schlep around in all these different villages to find food. You owner of the donkey, you know what to do, so you can do it. He rented it for a man to ride it. He should not allow a woman to do it, to ride it. Part of the reason is that we'll see. Let's just finish the sentence. Isha rechev ish. But if a Isha, you rented for Isha to ride it, so a man could ride it. Rashi says because the ish knows how to ride the donkey better. When you make a isha, we don't differentiate if it's a big woman or a small woman. Even if she's pregnant, even if she's nursing, she could go on the donkey. If you could take a miniko, Rashi learns the chiddush is the miniko means she's not going alone. It's a woman with her baby. She's nursing. She has to be with the baby the whole time. So of course, you'll take a muberes, which is one body. Taisa looks a little differently. And Taisa says that the gears is the opposite. He says, Hashto muberes, you say you could do it. Miniko mibai, as opposed to say, because muberes is heavier. And he says, even though one who's nursing is two bodies, but the baby carries himself, so he's not so heavy. The word we're saying over here is someone who's pregnant and she's also nursing. So it's not, that's why it's not, you ask why I have to say both. Some of there's one case. Biniso akarso tako. What does it mean? Rashi says, I biniso the fish died. Mishko, ataklo, akaso taklo. The fi kreisa koivdo. Im kreisa godol mishkolo yosef. Meaning you do it based on their stomach. Why? Because here you're saying that a pregnant woman is more, as I say, you know, give it to a woman, even a pregnant woman. Well, what's a pregnant? She's heavier because of her stomach. So meaning Rashi says, Im raisa daksha kreisa godol, you see a fish with a large stomach, don't buy it with the weight because the stomach makes it be heavy. Don't tell me, the main part of the body is this, it's just a small part. It makes her heavier, and that's why the chiddush is that the chamor, you give it to Isha, you give it to muberes, even though she's pregnant, she's heavier, you see that the weight does depend on the heaviness. Shalom, what is the chiddush? This will leave maybe to the Shom Machshava on this daf. We say, go my boy side, a good thing, and Be'ez Hashem on Shabbos, in the regular time.